Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines. U.S. state push Bitcoin. Strategic fund. We're going to talk about it. Visa, Coinbase, Ethereum network failing. How about Ripple, XRP, and the real USD to the rescue? Brad Garlinghouse, BlackSwan. Ripple providing yield to the world's largest banks. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content right now. $2.53 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 0.9%. Bitcoin, 71,900 plus, 2,600 plus for Ethereum. Tether's 120 billion plus right now. USDC, 34 billion plus. And XRP's 52 cents. We're off 0.7 on the 24 and off by 1.1 on the 7-day. The range of price between 52 and 53 cents. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. It is linked to, ladies and gentlemen, the best home for private equity in the world. And I don't mind telling you, you're going to want to check this out. I know you guys have heard me talk about it a lot, but let me tell you a little something. This is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, because there's so many incredible products on this platform. Just take, for instance, AI. We all know how AI is just absolutely exploding. Well, later today, keep an eye out. Scale AI is going to be on the Link 2 platform. Yes, that's right. Now, let me just tell you, you may not be aware of Scale AI, but I bet you've heard of some of their customers: NVIDIA, Microsoft, Cisco, Meta, OpenAI, the U.S. Army and Air Force. Heard of them? Yeah. This is the kind of quality products that you get an opportunity to buy before they have some kind of a public exit. Click the link below and get started. It takes just a matter of minutes to sign up, register, and fund your account. Let's get started right here. Oh boy, 1 billion USDT minted at Tether Treasury, and suddenly Bitcoin starts surging. And after the surge we saw yesterday at one point, right around 99% of all Bitcoin holders were in profit because we were that close to hitting the all-time high for Bitcoin, which means once it hits the all-time high, nobody's upside down, right? And what a notion that is. That's how exciting this market is right now. However, we will deal with this. We're going to talk more about that in a second. Let's keep going. Florida State CFO, Chief Financial Officer, endorses a strategic Bitcoin reserve and pushes pension funds for firefighters, teachers, police officers to buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is often called digital gold, and it could help diversify states' portfolio and provide a secure hedge against the volatility of other major asset classes. Isn't this what we have said? When you start seeing the family offices, the pension funds, and things of this nature endowments start to come in and take a position in Bitcoin, boy, oh boy, is it going to get very exciting. Now, side note, I did see that there was a huge short position that was in, and that could speak to why the pullback is just under the all-time high for Bitcoin at this point. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. But take a look at this. Visa and Coinbase partner for instant crypto buys on debit cards. What I find interesting about this is that Coinbase is in the middle of a lawsuit. I mean, just a fight, just like what we've seen, with Ripple. And yet Visa and Coinbase are partnering for instant crypto buys on debit cards. How does this continue to move forward with adoption and integration with the legacy systems and financial firms? And we still have this case hanging over the Coinbase and the Ripple and the other companies and projects. This is where I feel like, these things are these challenges to this new technology. It's an audit vetted process legally too. I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm literally saying I see the same thing happening here that I did to Ripple, I see the same thing happening here where the SEC went after Microsoft, Amazon, and Tesla. It just looks like what we're seeing, because how is it that we're still seeing this integration and adoption preparing for mass adoption and use while they're still in this court battle? And then there's this consensus layoffs. Ethereum giant Consensus cuts 20% of its workforce. Well, remember, there was problems, there was dissension in the ranks, if you remember. If you remember, there were shareholders in Consensus that wanted to sue Joe Lubin because of what he did. Now, I'm not going to go any further than this because I remember what the problem was. However, I do wonder if this is going to be a deeper problem that will rise over time. And could there be a problem with Ethereum once we have legal clarity or not? Remember, you know, the ICO was originally overlooked. Then Gary Gensler came out and said, you know, I think I'm going to sue them. Now I'm not going to sue them. I think they're a security. Now they're not a security. Now they really won't say. It just seems like it's not as clear as we understand Bitcoin and now XRP to be. And now CFTC clearly says Ethereum is a commodity. So again, you know, there's problems inside the Ethereum camp at Consensus, and that's not over yet. You know, we know that Joe Lubin has basically said that the SEC is coming after them now. How far that goes, I happen to feel like the SEC has done such a horrible job in this space that they've created a problem for themselves that only legislative clarity can get them out of. So we will see how this shakes out. One thing I do want to keep an eye on is talking about these layoffs and cuts to the workforce. And we know that the Ethereum ETFs have not been on fire as much as Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has been on a historic push. So understanding this dynamic, I have to wonder, will the U.S. government hold Ethereum accountable for being backed by Yuan Zhang, which is a CCP, a Communist China Party company? And could it be timed with the integration of the real USD launching on Ethereum's network and also XRP Ledger Snap? And think about when these things start gaining traction and what that can do when people on the Ethereum network find out the efficiency, the savings that could be, the minimal gas fees to use the network. What's going to happen there? I don't know. I just say keep our eyes open. You know, I certainly hope that there's some accountability to why Ethereum is allowed to have CCP backing their blockchain. And if you haven't seen the premieres for XRP Unleashed documentary, you're going to want to go to those premieres or just go pre-buy the movie, because you're going to find out things that you don't even know you are aware of. And a lot of us are highly, highly informed on that. But there's some breaking stuff you're going to see in that film. And I think it will fill in a blank or two for a lot of people, especially regulators and prosecutors. Looking at this, Guy Young, CEO of Athena Labs, explains that there are only two major use cases for blockchain at scale. Let's hear what he says here.
I think the story for Bitcoin is sort of, you know, found a more narrow use case of the store of value through time, and that medium of exchange has sort of dropped away. But I do think it is worth just considering that the growth of stablecoins is kind of actually the most valuable thing that Ethereum is providing right now, which is you've only really got two real use cases of blockchains at scale, which is trading and it's using dollars in there, and it's the storage of stablecoins for a store of value. And so if stablecoins didn't exist, I think ETH wouldn't be worth much at all. And part of the value is actually derived by the growth and success of stablecoins.
There you go. So, you know, you see the use cases out here. It's why Ripple's getting in the game. And speaking of being in the game, don't forget, and I covered this yesterday, we know that through the SEC case against Ripple and XRP, XRP in and of itself is not a security. Well, if you go all the way back to 2015, the U.S. Treasury determined that not only is XRP not a security, it's a virtual currency. Keep that in mind as we move through these trying times. Listen to this. Shout out to Paul Barron for this clip talking to Hashdex.
For assets, for other assets beyond Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has a very, very clear regulatory regime in the US already. But when you look at Ether, they have some clarity. Now there are ETFs, but when you go to Solana, XRP, and all the other assets, there's a big uncertainty right now. So I think that they tend to benefit the most from an open regulatory regime for crypto, and that's what markets are betting for Trump. If Trump is elected, then we might have a regulatory regime. But what we believe is that the most important thing is look at the Congress. So how the Congress is going to be composed in this next cycle, okay? Yes. And how this Congress to look into regulation.
He's absolutely right. It matters. We need a Congress that can get on board and get legislation passed without it becoming a partisan issue. That's one thing that just sets all of us, I think, sideways, right? Is this should be a nonpartisan issue. We know that this is technology and we can benefit from it. Now, let's take a look at this right here. Let's grab this clip real quick.
The last slide we'll put up has manifested interestingly. You look at the left side of this chart and it shows how many companies in the internet space are US based and US value accretion, and then the right side is kind of in the crypto space, and it's kind of not surprising.
It is not surprising, and shout out to him because he's about to highlight what we talked about here for years, which is the 1996 Telecommunications Act. That's what opened up the internet to get this list so dense with U.S. companies that have become the flagship and leaders of the internet we currently have. And this is why we don't currently have that dense lineup, because we don't have the clarity here. Keep listening.
As you and I have talked about, the earliest days of the internet, the regulatory clarity was created through the 1996 Telecommunications Act. And so investors flowed in, entrepreneurs flowed in. That hasn't yet happened in the United States as it relates to crypto, hopefully soon. But maybe this will change. I'm hopeful, and I agree it could be a black swan event.
Well, there you have it. So keep your head on a swivel. You never know. A lot of stuff in play, ladies and gentlemen, no doubt about it. Ripple enables the internet of value. That is exactly right. Ripple enables enterprises around the world to tokenize, store, and exchange and move value. And take a look at this clip from the recent Ripple Swell event. You're going to like this.
Naturally, we will find use for the Ripple stablecoin, the Ripple USD, in our own products and our customers as well. In custody, it's an ideal asset for settling trades of real-world assets. In our payments product, we'll be using the Ripple USD alongside of XRP to provide more liquidity options in the payment flow. And the stablecoins have already proven their value in the market as tools for on and off ramps. So this is a great way to get fiat onto the chain and leave it in an asset that is tied to the fiat currency until you're ready to deploy it for other uses. And similarly, a great way when assets are liquidated to be able to easily move the funds around the world.
No doubt about it. Serving A to Z, right? From soup to nuts. They got it covered. Now take a listen to this quick clip.
Currently supports close to 20 different blockchains, but we're seeing interest from our customers in supporting more. So we will be adding more blockchains to the product in 2025. And finally, we'll be adding an integration with staking platforms so that customers who have assets sitting in the custody product will be able to earn yield on those rather than having them just sit there idly. Currently,
how about that one? Well, be able to earn on that so you don't have to sit there idly in custody. Isn't that what we're talking about? Well, remember this? Remember when Ripple and BNY Mellon partnered years ago to revolutionize asset tokenization and finance? And then do you remember that while they're doing all of this, they were getting the permission that no one else was getting? Remember? BNY Mellon, the largest asset custodian in the world to banks. Don't believe it. It's still true. In fact, take a listen to this.
For XRP or for Ripple, tokenized assets are going to be the vehicle that this is going to, I think, transact around.
Yep.
And if you follow where the money is going, you probably would agree. Here's a clip to talk about that.
BNY Mellon is the world's largest custodial bank. They're the bank that your banks bank with. And they did a study of institutional asset managers to get their opinions on what they think about this space. And that report found that 97% of asset managers believe that tokenization will revolutionize the asset management industry. The ones with more than $1 trillion, basically the largest asset managers, 100% of them are interested in this space. So I don't know about you, but I've always been told, follow the money.
Yeah, I was told the same thing too. Ripple and BNY Mellon are partnered. I'm just following the money. That's all I'm doing. What are you guys doing? I'll tell you what else I'm following. R3's still for sale, right? And I think it's a great way for Ripple to not only get integrated nice and tight right up against the DTC and all these other entities and the Swift payment system. Yeah, just buy R3 and saddle up right next to Swift. And get that XRP back from that court case, because R3 never did live up to what they should have. I suspect they're looking to sell because they don't really have the money to move forward. We'll see what goes on. I think it's a great acquisition. I hope Ripple does buy them. Meanwhile, let's look at this. Don't forget, 10 trillion. That's the goal by 2030. You got the world's largest custodian. I just showed you, right? The world's largest custodian. All the banks custody with BNY Mellon, Ripple partner. The launch of the real USD is imminent, and they're going to set it up so they can earn returns while they're custodying with institutional custody. Come on in. Yeah. I like where this is going, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I do. And matter of fact, you're going to love where it's going next. It's into the freedom zone, and you're going to want to join us. The threat, geopolitical threat of a real conflict, like WW3, is very, very serious now. And we're going in to talk about that and so much more. You can join us too. Great way to support the channel. We're super grateful for everybody that does. And whether you do or not, please hit the like and subscribe and share this with somebody you know. Go to digitalperspectives.com, click the Freedom Zone for next to nothing, and come on in. Oh, and by the way, tonight, private weekly call in the DPMG. If you make the investment in yourself to join the DPMG, you get the Freedom Zone for free. And I'll tell you this, tonight we're going to continue the conversations in our case study on trusts, how to protect your assets in a trust for you and your family for generations to come, just like the wealthiest people in the world do. That's the kind of things we're doing in the DPMG. And you can join too, but only for a limited time. This window is closing soon. I don't like this group to get too big, and it's already pretty damn big. Click the link underneath the video, go to digitalperspectives.com, click the buttons, and come on in. All right.